All right, so for this next step, we're going to be doing our terms note taker. And to access your terms, you need to go back here into our Google Classroom for Creative Writing. And then down here under our poetry unit, you've got at the very bottom, it says week 1 figurative language and poetry terms. Go ahead and open that document. When you open it, it's going to create your own week 1 figurative language and poetry terms. It'll have your name here. And this will be your note taker for you to use for this entire unit. There will be a new note taker each week. We're going to go over lots of poetry terms and figurative language terms. Our essential question for the unit is, how can I use language to add meaning and to express myself through poetry? So we're going to do that using figurative language. So we've already done alliteration. So you should go ahead and type here. Technically the definition is here, but maybe give an example or anything you want to put in notes for alliteration so you can study that for our unit exam that'll come at the very end of this unit. And now we're going to add tone, mood, point of view, and speaker. So feel free to have both of these windows open at the same time, or maybe pause my video and go back and forth to add your notes. So let me go ahead and open up our PowerPoint for tone, mood, point of view, and speaker. We're going to add all of those to our note taker. So tone and mood, this is not new. This is something that we've done together in English 9. But just as a quick reminder, so tone refers to the author's attitude, and it's expressed through his or her words. And mood is what the feeling of the reader, the feeling the reader gets from reading. So in poetry, you'll have tone, which comes from the author, and mood is felt by the reader as they express themselves or feel their emotions while they're reading the poem. Okay. Let's move on to point of view. So point of view in poetry is sometimes it's confusing because the poet would be the author, the person that wrote the poem. But the poet is not necessarily the speaker in a poem. The speaker is the narrator of the poem. And let me give you an example of that. So if, for example, a song, we're going to use a lot of Disney songs in this unit as poetry examples. If the song is being sung by a character from the movie, then that character is the speaker. However, the poet would be the author that actually wrote the lyrics or wrote the poem. So that's point of view. Moving on to our next term, rhythm. So rhythm is a pattern of beats or stresses in a poem. And if you read a poem, you'll hear an automatic rhythm. And every beat in that rhythm would be a stressed line. So if I were to read this, she was a child and I was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with love that was more than love, I and my Annabelle Lee. So each of those snaps or each of those beats is a stressed syllable in the rhythm of the poem. It's something that comes naturally as you read it, but this is just putting a word to it, some metacognition of the actual strategy of a rhythm within